Good morning.
Hello.
I've been struggling with trying to find ways to get my students practice interpreting graphs, especially now that we've moved to online instruction. I was wondering if you've tried anything, if you've found an approach that might help me out.
Yeah, so I've been using the BIOMAAP module of Figure of the Day. So I originally was using it at the beginning of class, and basically the module is that you show a figure to the students with no labels in the axis, and they should discuss among themselves what they think it is, focus on the patterns, ignoring the labels, so that they can kind of like train their brains to interpret figures without the fear of being wrong, because actually there's no correct answer because you don't know the labels of those axes, right? So it's I thought it was a good exercise at the beginning of class. First, it will help them a little bit interpreting data figures, and also it will be like an icebreaker for my class at the beginning of the class, every class. But when we went online, so what I did was that I adapted it as a discussion. So would you like me to show you how I would do it in the online teaching tool that we have?
Yes, that would be great.
Let me share my screen. So can you see my screen?
I can.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so this would be a template of how my course would look in Desire to Learn, is what we use in my institution. So basically in the homepage of the course, you have the opportunity to post news anytime. So what I do is, instead of now doing figure of the day, now I'm doing figure of the week. So basically every Monday at 8 a.m., I will post this new figure. So I will let them know in the news section, hey, there's a new figure of the week. Go to the discussion board to look at it and follow the instructions. So in this platform, we have what we call the discussions here, if you follow my pointer. And basically the discussions is you post a discussion and the participants either create a new thread answering the discussion or reply to a thread that already another participant created. So it's like mimicking a conversation among participants. So for the figure of the week, the first day or the first week that we did it, I posted a figure related to COVID-19, but they didn't know it was COVID-19. So basically the instructions were very general. So just post an observation of the figure or reply to an observation of a classmate, whatever that is. So here they can, open the image in a new window. They can spend all the time they can and they want. In this case, in their houses alone, but they can also mimic the same conversation that they would have in class through the discussion board. So they would go, let's say, they want to participate in figure of the week, let's say March 23, they will either start a new thread or look at threads that have been already created. So I created here 2 to give you an example. So let's say I'm a participant and I want to look at observation 1, that thread. And the thread could be as simple as both axes are continuous. That's an observation. But let's say, okay, cool, I'm not interested in participating in that one. So let's take a look at the other one. You can go to observation 2 and let's say a student says, okay, I can see that the USA shows a linear pattern contrary to South Korea, which seems to be reaching an asymptote. And let's say I'm interested in that. And I reply to that thread and say, oh, yes, I agree with you. I mean, the current situation, this figure must be, I don't know, cumulative number of deaths of COVID across time. And basically, at the end of the week, so I post this on Monday up until Thursday, and at the end of the week, you can see a large or long discussion among multiple students of either creating new threads or replying to things. And one of the things I thought could be very useful was for me as the instructor also participate. So that is like hopefully like encouragement to each student to see that the instructor is also participating in their thread. And that allowed me not only to encourage them, but also to guide a little bit the discussion. So if they would say something that is completely erroneous, I would try to direct or drive the discussion into another direction through questions, like in an inquisitive way. So that was very helpful too. And then at the end of the week, the due date will be Thursday at 5 p.m. I will post at that time in the news section the answer of the figure of the week, in which they will have all the information from where I took the figure and any other important reference on the data that is behind the figure. And that's how I'm tackling this.
That sounds great. So I've used figure of the day in person, and it's always worked nicely, but I've struggled with encouraging the quieter students to contribute. Have you found that this online form allows them to have a louder voice?
So in the classroom, my classroom was structured into tables. So they were always participating in a collaborative group. So that was very good because you could allow the discussion to run per table, and the instructor becomes a little bit anonymous at that moment. So everyone maybe feel more comfortable working. So they all participated. In the online version, I think it even helps more participation because you are not in front of anyone. You are in your comfortable spot at home and you answer whenever you want. So it is much more flexible and you can think through your answer before writing it. So I think it could even allow much more participation. And at the end, the discussion becomes more detailed and I think even better than just 3 or 5 minutes of the class.
Well, thanks so much. This gives me something to try online, and then your group setting gives me something to try in person too. I appreciate the help.
You're welcome.